Can I ask a question to talk about? Well, the mind worries, my mind worries, as in my nature or a second nature, or whatever. And well, when you get older, time and energy and so on slips through your fingers, and you know that you have to deal with it somehow. And also that the mind, the monkey mind, doesn't have any solutions to offer, and still keeps on operating and trying to find solutions. And in the other way, at the moment my situation is not so worrisome, but still I see around me that the pressure is more and more on people. You can see it in the Middle East and so on. The pressure is very high on people to find job, to find a home, to pay the bills and all that kind of things. So that only increases fear and worry and that kind of thing. So the situation doesn't look so good to be. But the main thing for my life is to find some inner peace, I think. And I know that the mind doesn't give that. That you can't just switch it off. Is it somehow clear?
You have this feeling of restlessness even when you are sleeping. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Even when you are sleeping quite nicely, deeply?
I suppose not, I don't know. I'm not aware of that.
So this feeling is there only when one is conscious of this feeling. This feeling is hence just a particular way of thinking, of being conscious. Hence this feeling is related to the mind itself. It is not a problem in front of the mind. It is not a problem that is external and hence the mind can solve it. It is a problem internal to the mind. Is this feeling not the very movement of mind itself? You see, you wake up and the mind starts moving, the mind becomes active. And that's when all the problems seem to arise. First of all, it's important to understand that when the mind itself is the so-called problem, then the mind cannot be the solution. The solution cannot emerge from within the mind. The mind is all that which is in the mind, all that which the mind thinks of. That's what the mind is. Take that away and the mind is nothing. There is no mind. So whenever the mind will move, even if it appears to be moving towards a solution, the movement, if it is within the mind itself, if it's a self-enclosed movement, the movement would actually just be a part of the problem, a continuation of the problem. The funny thing is, most of the times the mind moves just so that it may get a solution. The mind has a lot of, at least superficial confidence upon itself. The mind believes that it can solve issues, that it has the capability to come to peace, that it can actually take care of its own peace. So the mind keeps moving. And we fail to realize often that the agency that has been trusted with solving a problem may itself be the problem. Let's see how the mind functions. We talk of job, homes, employment, security, economic conditions. Do you know these as something innate, internal to you? You see, it is not as if somebody has no money. The fellow does have money, but that money seems insufficient. When something is internal to you, you have an absolute benchmark of it. Absolute means independent. Absolute means not relative to anything else. Right? An example would be thirst.
Mm-hmm.
Thirst too is not fully innate, yet it's a good example to take. It's a pointer. You drink water, and in drinking water you need no benchmark as to how much water do you need. You just know. You just know how much water is needed. But is that the same in case of money? Is that the same in case of the salary that your job is going to offer? How does one really know how much money is sufficient or insufficient? Is it like thirst? To the extent it is like thirst, wonderful. But I see that it is not like thirst to a great extent. Do we see the difference between that which arises right from within and that which has been filled into the mind from outside? Whatever has been filled into the mind from outside will depend on a relative criteria from the outside itself to determine its importance. What arises from within will not depend on anything else. You will surely know how important it is, and because it is important, so you will act on it. You act on other things as well that come from outside. But we are trying to see how do we know that those things are important. Not only have we been told that money is important, we have also been told how much of money is important. And both of these things are things that have been told to us. They are not coming from within us. The proof of that is that different parts of the world live in different kinds of economic conditions, and their innate joy would have very little correlation with how much money they have.
Mm-hmm.
You see this?
Yeah, you can see that.
One could be in a country that is a developed country, and because it happens to be a developed country, so the social benchmarks of prosperity are set very high. Very high compared to other countries, not within the country. Within the country it would appear just normal. I get it. Now, you may have a certain level of prosperity, a certain level of earning, a certain security in the job. But because money, security, prosperity, all of these things are basically external inputs, rather external implants. Hence, you do not know how much of them do you need. I surely know how much of water I need. I surely know how much of water I need. I may also know how much of clothing I need to wear. But it would be very difficult for you to know how big a house you need. Don't you see people living in palaces whose size exceed their requirements by far? You look at animals. You look at their burrows, caves, you look at their nests, and the size of their house, of their dwelling, exactly corresponds to their need. No animal ever lives in a place that exceeds its basic requirements. But human beings seem to be living in houses of greatly disproportionate sizes that are incomparable to each other. On one hand, in some parts of the world, you may have a room, a small room, let's say 10 by 10, being shared by 3 people or 4 or 10. And in other parts of the world, or maybe in that part of the world itself, in some other neighborhood just 5 kilometers away, you may have just a couple or even a loner living in a mansion. Right? That doesn't happen with animals. That doesn't happen there. The snake knows how much of space it needs, and it needs no more than that. It would have no more than that. The rabbit knows as well as the lion. The lion would not be found in a nest. But we have people somehow fitting themselves in a 10 by 10. How do they manage to do that? Nobody knows. Surely they would be having their own considerations and plans. For 4 people to live in a 10 by 10 room is as ridiculous as a millionaire to live in a mansion. That happens only because man has no internal sense of who he is, and hence what he must do and where he must live and how much must he have. Now I'm asking you, how do you know how much money do you need? You are saying that people are insecure and people are stressed out for reasons of job and money and stability and such things. Am I getting it right? That's what you're saying? Yes? I'm asking you, how do these people know how much money do they need? How do they know that what is the right size of the house for them? How exactly do they know? Is there knowing of the quality of thirst where you know how much water you need? Is there knowing of the quality of the seagull where it knows when to go to sleep? Have you seen birds go to sleep? They know. It's time. Does our knowledge have that quality? Or is it a totally externally borrowed knowledge? Alright, let me put it this way. Today, if your memory is wiped out, memory and along with it all the knowledge that you hold, let's say it's wiped out, would you still be worried about job? Please. Would you be?
No.
Another question, a thought experiment. Memory is wiped out and your mind is implanted with another kind of memory, the consciousness of a person who lives in, let's say, Asia, Southeast Asia, where average incomes are, let's say, a quarter of what we have here. Now, how much would you need then? If today you say you want 100 units and your consciousness is filled with that of a man living in Vietnam or in India, may I say sub-Saharan Africa? Now, how much would you need then? Right now you say you need 100 new units, and if you don't have 100 units, you feel uneasy about it. How much would you need then?
You need much less. Because you're in a different country and the standards of living are much less. So your mind thinks, I need much less.
30 units, 40 units would appear like a fortune.
Yeah.
Right now 100 is appearing peanuts. Then 40 would be a fortune. Do you see, it's not at all something coming from your heart. And why go so far? Even within this country, if your consciousness is substituted with that of a very rich man, let's say the top 1 percentile, how much would 100 units feel like? 100 units, nothing. That's nothing at all. I need 2000, right?
At least.
It's not like thirst. You don't really need it. You have been told to need it. Born in some other country, raised in some other context, you would have been stress-free, at least free of this kind of stress. You would be carrying other kinds of stress. That's another matter. You see this? We feel as if something very, very important is at stake. We feel as if it is our inherent need. It is not. Remove the comparison, remove the benchmarks, and you will find that you have removed all the tension. There was one very interesting piece of news. Somebody has conducted a research and found that Facebook is leading to a worsening of quality of life amongst many people. Because everyone shows only his most polished face on Facebook. It's Facebook, so you
Yeah, very good title. I never thought about it.
you're putting your best foot forward. And what is everybody else thinking? They are not seeing that this is not what you are, but this is probably the best you can
Present yourself
as. The others are thinking, oh, the world is so happy. All happy pictures around. The world is buying new cars. Oh, he just brought his new hybrid. And he's in the woods with this hybrid and reclining on the bonnet and getting himself clicked. And just by way of comparison, the quality of life, the peace of mind of the watchers reduces. You see, because of something external, one has distanced himself from that which is totally within. Peace cannot come to you from outside, but all these disturbances, they can surely come from outside. And they do. And they do. if we can ask these questions to us, if I would not compare, would I still be unhappy? And can the mind know anything except by comparison? Comparison means knowledge which is dependent on something. When I say comparison, I mean dependent knowledge. There is something called innate knowledge, which the scriptures call as pratyp jnana, knowledge that arises from meditation. It is not dependent on anything, it does not come from anywhere else. And then there is all the knowledge that comes to us from the TV, from the books, from peers, from experience. All this experiential knowledge is dependent knowledge. It is dependent on the senses, it is dependent on the world. Don't we see that all this that we are gathering from here and there is the cause of our tension? And all of this that I'm saying is nothing big or new at all. You read stories from the time of the world wars and you will see, or the Great Depression, and you will see how people, once they realize that the situations have changed, adapt very easily to the changed situations. But they must see that the situations have changed. So the relative benchmark has shifted. I used to have 2000 when the rest of the country had 1000. 2:1. Now the rest of the country has 100 and I have 500. My own wealth has declined 4 times. But my relative wealth has increased from 2:1 to 5:1. I am happier. These things used to happen. Do you see what is happening? I was at 2000 when the society, when the rest of the nation was at 1000. Now I'm at 500, but the rest of the nation has dropped down to 100. I feel I'm happier. I'm happier than when I was at 2000. It's all by way of comparison, nothing else. Had it been an innate need, then dropping from 2000 to 500 would have been tragical. It should have shattered you. But no, instead it has resulted in an increase in happiness. Such a fickle thing is this happiness. Are we not grateful for the rain? Are we not grateful for the fact that the air has only as much oxygen as we need? Instead, we crib about that which our neighbor has, or that which probably the government can give us, or that 10% more which a change in trade policies or foreign policy can give us. We want that 10% more, and we fail to acknowledge how much we already have. How much would you pay for the sight of seagulls on the beach? How much exactly? And is that sight not free? If the sky is taken away from you, how much would you want to pay for it? Kindly quote. Please. How much do you want to pay for the sky?
Oh, I have.
And they're still not taxing it.
Not yet.
And the fact that you can see, and the fact that your heart beats, and the thing called love, and the simple thing that you can listen and understand, how much do you want to pay for it? The only thing is these are not comparable things, hence we don't value them. You see, you have the sky, but the sky is not personally yours. Your neighbor too has the sky, so you say that the sky has zero value. What if the sky is taken away? We imagine a lot. Let's put our imagination to good use. Imagine, no more sky. Now tell me, somebody has all the riches of the world, but no sky, and you are what you are. Let's say you are in penury, but you have the sky. Now, who would you think is more fortunate? Yes, the man with all the riches but no sky. Would you want to be in his shoes?
No. No.
There is a sky up there, there is a sky in here. We all have it. The sky has us, we are enveloped by it. Let's not miss it in the rush of cars and televisions and products and propaganda. Yes? That is the reason why when you compare the GDPs of the developed world and the developed world, you find a lot of difference. It could be taken in per capita terms, it could even be 20:1. 10:1 is common, 5:1 is regular. But when you compare their happinesses, and there are surveys that look at how peaceful the people are, how secure and happy the people are, you don't find that skew. In fact, there you often find that the people there are happier than the people here. You'll be knowing that, right? A tiny and not so rich country, Bhutan, is the happiest country in the world. Has very little resources, a small population, it's a hilly country, the kingdom. Happiest. Because that which they have is not a product of what they produce or consume. We see this. All that you're asking for is things that you can eat, drink, wear, sleep, drive, consume. I'm reminded of a story. Man was going to commit suicide. The king spotted him. He is the man going to commit suicide. The king sent his men. Look at him, appears quite despondent, and stop him. So, two of the soldiers go to him, they ask him, why? He says, I have nothing at all, I'm going to commit suicide. They said, no, but the king is taking personal interest in your case, probably you should not. He says, no, I have made up my mind, I am going to jump off this cliff. The soldiers come back to tell the king, either do something urgently or that man is finishing himself off. The king says, fine, let me go to him. The king goes to him and says, why? He says, I've already said, I have nothing. When I have nothing, why must I live? The king says, fine, now that you say that you have nothing and you are hell-bent on killing yourself, why don't you give your 2 eyes to me? The fellow says, oh, yeah, what did you say? He says, your eyes? He says, oh, I'll pay a big price. How much do you want? 1,000? The fellow just stares at him. The fellow is okay. 1 lakh? Deal closed. He pulls out his dagger. Let me gouge out your eyes. And the fellow says, no, stay away. The king says, all right, 1 million. And he pins him down to the floor, to the earth. And he says, now here, I am extracting your eyes. The fellow starts struggling. He in fact punches the king. King says, this is very strange. You are going to kill yourself. The next minute, your whole body, your eyes would be no more. And you say you have nothing. Why don't you allow me to take these eyes? He said, you son of a woman, you stay away. You dare not look at me, don't touch me, and do not think about my eyes. The lesson had been learned. The lesson had been learned. Very often, we miss exactly that which we cannot lose. That which is so very near to us is missed by us precisely because it is so near that we fail to detect it. With the eyes you see everything, but the eyes never are able to see that and themselves. The eyes will look around.
Right.
The eyes will look around and say, this house is empty, I have nothing. Had you had nothing, how could you have looked? The eyes do not look at themselves ever. Yeah? The tongue that says, I have nothing. What is the value of that tongue? The mind that thinks, I have nothing. What price tag do you want to put to that mind? Yeah? And if you have nothing, then why not? Yeah, I'm a vegan, but there are people who like grains. Why not? The scriptures say you are an infinity. Add 10 euros to infinity or subtract 10 euros from infinity. What do you get? What do you get? You are still an infinity. Alright, 10 euros. You're not talking of 10 euros. I'm trivializing the matter. Alright. Subtract 1,000,000 euros from infinity or add 1,000,000 euros to infinity. What do you get? Has the infinity changed? Has it?
Yeah.
You are still the same. It doesn't matter whether someone has 1,000,000 or whether someone has lost 1,000,000. You are still the same. You may gain the most profound riches the world can offer, or you may lose everything, and you are still the same. What can this world give you? What can it take away from you? But comparison, but knowledge, but benchmarks, but social standards. You really want to take them seriously? Really? Huh? Would $10 billion give you what you have just understood? What then is the value of understanding? What then is the value of understanding? A Zen master was once asked, what is the price of a Buddha? He said, the head of a dead cat. You cannot put any price to it. You cannot put any price to the Buddha, your own Buddha nature. By searching for that trivial, you miss out on the essential, don't you? Have you loved? Gentlemen? Do you know love? Of course you do. It's an offensive question to ask this, obviously. How much money would you pay for your beloved?
For?
For your beloved. I say I want to take him or her away. And I want to pay you for your love. How much money would you accept?
2 million. Euros. Not rupees.
In cash.
On the spot.
No taxes.
The auction, I would say 4 million. This is no way.
I know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
I think I know it all.
It's no auction.
And seriously, if at this moment, you were really drenched in love, as one is drenched in this rain, would you ask this question?
No.
Would you ask, where would I get my next car or next house from? We know what it means to be drenched in love, right? We all have been through it. We are probably still in it. Would you ask? So why don't you simply say you are missing love? Why talk of money? I want to ask if one is really in love. In love. It could be with a person, with a mission, with anything, or ultimately it could be just objectless, impersonal love. Whatever type or quality of love it is. Does that leave you still in that moment worrying about riches or the next meal? We know the ecstasy of love, right? We know the whole craziness. Yes. Is it not possible that people who accumulate money accumulate it just as a poor substitute to love? Is it possible or not? I'm not saying it is that way, I'm just wondering whether it is possible. Nothing else in nature seems to accumulate beyond the next day, beyond the next season. Flowers store stuff within themselves, so do seeds. The ant gathers a little bit of sugar. It's only man who seems to be intent on gathering for generations, gathering far beyond what he can consume. Nothing in the universe is loveless as man. Nothing in the universe is as distrustful as man. Joey so easily walks into this room. You know Joey, right?
My cat.
Raka's cat.
Well,
Okay.
the
He's
one
thinking
who
he's
climbs.
impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raka's adorable cat. So easily he walks into this room full of creatures of another species. We are not cats, mind you. Would you equally comfortably walk into a room full of cats?
Well, that's because the cat sees us as cats. A little bit
Strange cat.
strange cats.
But we don't see cats as humans.
No.
Right? Right. If the cat can see us as cats, if that's what your explanation is, why can't we see cats as humans? We don't. The cat trusts, simply put. The cat trusts. The other day, there was this girl who was afraid of holding a puppy. I said, you look at your size, you look at your weight, and you look at the puppy. Who should be afraid of whom? The puppy should be afraid of you. You can really squash the puppy if you want. But the puppy is alright. The puppy is not shying away. And you, all of 60 kilograms, are pretending as if the puppy can eat you alive. The puppy is comfortable. Everything in nature just trusts. I'm not saying it always trusts. If you do something to the cat, it will run away or even sneer at you. But nobody is as faithless, as distrustful as man. We must feel secure mentally. We must have security of our own construction. Our security must be a security of doing, a security in achievement. We have no innate security. We do not feel that even if I am deprived of everything, yet I will be alright. What would happen? Well, why worry what would happen? Throw that away. Thought that we pride ourselves on is also our disease. Thought seems to have given us all this. All these are arising out of thought. But thought has also given our sullen faces, our drooping shoulders, our heavy minds. And do not forget that ultimately all the thoughtful ones are at a place where they can't even experience the rain. A few feet below the earth. What will you do with all your thought? What will you do with all your constructed security? How many more years? One day, with all your thoughtfulness, with all your concern for feeling good, living up to the social standards, you'll just find that what?
It's not fulfilling at all.
The bell is ringing. And in that moment, it doesn't matter which country you belong to. The dead one has no nationality. The dead one has no money either. Even the banks will refuse to honor your signature once you are dead. Yes. Go claim your riches as the dead one. See what they do to you. Go drive your car as the dead one. It would not be the traffic police then, it would be the Air Force then. Bombing you from above. Feel grateful for these moments as long as they are there. They won't last. In the mortal form, this music is given to us for a limited time. Don't miss it. There are so many things already that you cannot do. You have advanced in age. Are you still as agile as you were when you were 25? Don't boast. Are you? I am not. Are you, sir?
No.
And were you not thinking even when you were 25? Were you not worrying and carrying out your plans even when you were 25? Will you be able to get back all that which you left behind, lost, didn't enter, squandered? Will all that ever come back? And is this situation not a product of the fact that life at 25 was not lived fully? Had you lived fully at 25, would you still be equally worried? I'm asking all this. When 25 didn't last, 40 won't either. Neither would 60. Time slips away. If you meet yourself when you were 25, let's say you are in front of yourself and the other one's 25, what could you advise him? You have $2 million.
Huh? Yeah. Enjoy the moment. Be in the now.
And that craziness is not disorderly. The madness of the heart has an intrinsic order about it. So you need not wonder what will happen to you or to your future. If you are surrendered to the great rhythm of life, then life takes care of itself. That is called faith. It is not as if you are committed to joy and then the rest of your life would be ruined. That's what our normal thinking is, right? That's what thought thrives on. Thought tells us that if you give in to this moment, then the next moment would be ruined. Right? If you really go and drench yourself in the rain, maybe you'll enjoy this moment, but by the evening you'll have a cold. It doesn't quite happen that way. Have faith. New doors open when you enter the rain. You, the worrying one, are the one who is not in the rain.
The worrying?
Yeah, the one who is worried.
The worried one. Okay.
The worried one.
Yeah.
Sitting here on this couch, you are worrying. This worry is a state of that mind which is not drenched. Out in the rain, the mind is drenched. It is no more the same mind that is there on this sofa. That mind will not worry. All the worries are applicable only as long as you are here. But as long as you are here, you presume, you extrapolate that the worry will be there even when you will be out there. The fact is, out there are no worries. You just don't take into account the fact that it is not one mind. The mind changes like this. Sitting here, you are not the same person you would be when you would be drenched out there. You would be changed. So the worries too would be gone. Are you getting this? Yes, please.
Yeah, unless you take that worry with you. I'm walking in the rain and get a cold. And
But even then, you may decide, really be determined that you will be carrying the worry with you. Still the rain will not forego its magic. Try that. You may be extremely committed that you will remain tense when the music is on. But the music knows better. The music has its own ways. In spite of your determination to remain tense, it can take away your tension. I'll tell you of my personal thing. Often when I walk in to speak, I come from a particular experience I've had that day, from a particular state of mind. But one thing I'm committed to, which is to never give up the occasion to speak. The moment I sit on this chair, all that is left far behind. This chair has magic. But if I stand outside the door and ponder that, should I go in because I'm not in the right mood? Should I not wait for my mind to settle? Then I'll forever just keep waiting there, because I will never be in the right mood and the right preparation and in the absolutely right situation to enter. Never. So what do? Irrespective of what my mood is like, what my situation is like, I just walk in. And then I let the chair do the talking. I let this chair take care of me. Similarly, irrespective of what baggage you are carrying, you have to allow yourself to be drenched. And then the rain will take care of things. You know what the rain means, right? The rain I'm using as a metaphor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No.
The metaphor being
Existence.
existence.
The flow of life. That which is always anyway raining. It could have as well been the sun. Had it not been raining, I would have taken up the sun. That which is always available, unconditionally there.
Life itself.
Life itself. So, you don't have to be prepared. The right moment would never come. Never come. If you wait for the right moment, you'll keep waiting and preparing. Ultimately, why do you want money? Would you eat money? No. You want money so that you can be joyful. Don't forget that. On its own, that piece of paper has how much utility? Maybe it's good food for the termite. Some cellulose. If you think, it will appear difficult. Think, it will appear even more difficult.
So how can we switch though?
By just doing it. That's the thing. By just doing it. That's faith. Just doing it. That moment when you jump off the cliff. Can you plan? Can you decide? You can have all the preparations that bring you right up till the edge. But the moment of jumping can never be predetermined. All your preparation will not allow you, or not rather help you to jump. That moment is very necessary. That inner thing when you say, I give up, I let go.
Nike, just do it.
Just, yeah. Yes, right.
Nike, yeah.
Okay. Fine. It's such a silent okay. It's such a quick okay. Okay, fine.
That's what you mean by trust. You come in the room and you sit in the chair and you trust.
Yes. Trust. Trust. And if I think, or if you think, this kind of a risk can expose me as an utter fool. Not in the right frame of mind, I come and sit on this chair, and what do I find? That I am muttering rubbish, or that I am unable to comprehend what the audience is saying. So it's a risk that one takes, and gratefully it keeps paying off. But one does not rely on the fact that it will continue to pay off. That is not the thought. I don't walk in with that security. Faith is not security. Faith is to trust even without security. If you can trust only with security, then it is just business. You show me what you have got, and if you got the right things, then I'll trust you. No, not that way. Trusting unconditionally, that is faith. That's difficult, very difficult. But that's the easiest thing to do if you don't think. In those moments, you really have to be on top of thought. In those moments, you just have to say, okay. Okay. And even this is an unnecessary stretch. Shrugging your shoulders, saying okay. Even this is just too long a time. It's yes, it's smaller than a nanosecond.
Is it because we have valued thinking so much that now it has become a habit that everything we do has to come as a result of thinking?
Yes. And thinking has its own value. Who wants to deny that? The clothes that you are wearing are arising from thought. Somebody put his thought in the loom. Somebody thought about electricity. Somebody thought about merchandising all this. So that is there. But one has to learn to differentiate between all this and this. And remember that you can survive without all this. But if you survive without this, then it's a tragedy of
Unproportional.
Yeah, no words for it.
it would be a mercy if you die the moment you lose contact with this. That's a mercy. It's a very good couplet by Kabir. He says, Ram viyogi na jiye, jiye to baur hoye. Ram viyogi means the one who has gone away from Ram. He says he does not live. And if he does live, he becomes mad. Mad not in the sense of the madness of love, in the sense of insanity. He goes mad. So if you lose touch with this, it is better that you just die physically. No point in then hanging on.
There is this saying in the Bhagavad Gita where Kurushta, Kuru Karmani.
I won't remember the shlok. You have.
Oh, you don't? Okay, no. Because, what do I want to ask?
Kuru Karmani means do your thing. Yes.
Do your thing, but be aware first before you do your thing.
Which chapter? If you could even tell the chapter, maybe
I don't know which chapter, but I just heard it from somebody. I forgot what I wanted to ask because I was with this sentence. Too much thinking.
If this one comes from Karma Yoga, then it is just in the league of what we have just said. Let it happen. Let it happen. That's what Karma Yoga means. Do not block it. Do not perpetuate it. You are neither the doer nor the one who can stop the doing. Let it happen.
But we have to deal with other people all the time. I can let
the dealing happen. Why do you feel that it is your responsibility to deal with other people? Right now, am I not talking to you? Am I not? But did I not say a while back that I let the chair do the talking? So even when I am dealing with other people, I am trusting the chair to do the talking. Why must I talk? In fact, I am listening to myself just as you are listening to me. It's the chair talking to all of us here plus one. One can deal with other people by letting the dealing happen. It happens. Even that need not be greatly predetermined. It's important to know what the rightful province of thought is.
Right place, you mean?
Right place. And beyond that place, thought must not be exercised. That's where we often fail in our discretion. We fail to be thoughtful about matters that require thought. There we just believe. And in matters where thought must not interfere, we let thought be the instrument. It's a great mistake. You look at all the people who believe in so many ideologies, theories, even superstitions. they are the ones who are unable to use thought. And you don't find superstitious people only among the illiterate. Believes in so many things. They are all superstitions.
Superstitious.
There they should have exercised thought. They must have been more deeply thoughtful. They didn't think. And in matters of the heart, in matters that are central to living, we start thinking. And that is an even bigger mistake. You look at the so-called religious people, it's become almost a cult to denigrate thought. You go to Rishikesh, for example, and you see all kinds of samples walking on roads. They are the ones who need to think. But you know what? Even to have trust in thought, you need to first have faith in something that is beyond thought. So only the faithful one can really think properly. Otherwise, thought will remain fickle. You will think one thing and not trust it and continue to think. You won't even trust your own observation. If you don't have faith in that beyond words, that beyond thought, if you don't have faith in that, then you can't have trust in anything in the world. I often ask, if you can't belong to God, how can you belong to anybody? The one who has no relationship with the truth, with God, how can he have relationship with his kids or wife or neighbor?
No, it's mind against
So-
mind.
Right. So
It's related.
even to think properly, even to have a smoothly thoughtful brain, you need to first be a man of faith. Only the really spiritual mind can think sharply. Not only can it meditate deeply, but only that mind can also think sharply. These are not opposite sense, thinking and meditation. They both go together. If you are meditative, you will think well.
What do you mean by meditating?
That justness, that direct relationship with everything.
But isn't it very easy to say that you need to have faith, but people who are very poor, who are trying to survive every day, who have no food, no roof, no nothing, it's very easy to say, to tell them, you need to have faith.
I want to ask, would worrying give them a roof?
No,
What would give them a roof?
not faith.
Not even worrying?
No,
Sure.
not worrying.
Not worrying.
Yeah.
Worries and tensions and insecurity and cribbing. That's what not would fetch a roof to them. Right? Okay. Now what would really give them a roof?
Action.
Action. Right?
Work.
Action. With worries, what would be the quality of your action?
Okay, yeah.
With faith, what would be the quality of your action?
Okay.
Do you see that?
Okay.
Does faith prohibit you from acting?
No.
Or does faith really facilitate and lubricate action? Doesn't faith make it easier, smoother, more facile? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we have an image of the faithful one as the inactive one? Probably we do have that image, right?
Might be.
That the faithful one does not act at all. The faithful one is a man of vigorous action. Who said the faithful one would not act? You quoted the Bhagavad Gita. Is Arjun a lazy one?
No.
Or is Arjun a vigorous fighter?
Mm.
And does Arjun lack in faith? He does, at least in
Yes,
the beginning.
yes, yeah,
At least in the
yes,
beginning.
yeah.
And when he lacks in faith, is he fighting?
No.
No.
When is he fighting?
Faith.
So what comes along with faith?
Action.
And what comes along with doubt and thought?
Lethargy.
Wait, sorry, wait.
In the
Confusion,
first
confusion.
chapter.
Yeah.
In the first chapter, he's divided, fragmented.
Mm.
He's arguing with Krishna. He
Mm.
says, what?
Mm.
I don't want to fight, I'm going away.
Mm.
Hmm?
Mm.
Do we see action there? Organized, directed, energized action?
No.
Don't you see that worries make you incapable of action?
Mm.
In faith, you are able to act without worrying about the fruits of action. And that's why your action then is powerful. That's why your action then is without any concern for what would follow or what would happen. And when you play like that, you are impossible to be defeated.
Mm.
Hmm?
Mm.
Even in, your Euro is going on, the soccer cup. Don't you see how certain players fail to perform on the big stage?
Yeah, I see it.
They are otherwise quite
Yeah,
talented.
yeah.
When it would come to the big matches,
Belgium and De Bruyne.
they
can't
would
perform.
suddenly develop cold feet and they can't perform then.
No.
That's because they have started thinking about
Ronaldo missing a penalty just now, just 2 days ago.
you start worrying about what would happen. Then even simple things become so difficult. You start missing out on penalties.
Yeah.
Penalties. Ronaldo missing out on a
Ronaldo, yeah.
penalty. That happened.
Decisive moment.
India was playing Australia in the Champions Trophy World Cup final just a few days back, probably this week itself. It was great for the Indian team to have stopped the Australians in the duration of the play. I think it was 0-0, which was great. First of all, to reach the final and then to stop the Australians from scoring. India lost in the shootouts. 3-1.
See, that's again the shootout.
2 or 3 Indian players hit out of the goal box.
Yeah.
And Indians in general are pretty good at scoring that way. And it's the final of the Champions Trophy. Do you know what worry does to the quality of your action? You see this. You are within an arm's length of the cup. The cup is yours to pick and take home. And this is what you do. And is that not the story of our lives? Squandering available opportunities, sitting ducks. Yes? And then we feel, oh my God, probably I need to work harder. You don't need to work harder. You need to have a more stable mind. Similarly, there are certain players that belong to the big stage. In general, they may not perform outstandingly. But when it comes to the big occasions, the big day, you know this one is going to fire today. Because he has got a very firm and stable mind, a composed mind. Worries, tensions, social pressure, media, these do not daunt him. We have an image of religion which is a very languid image.
What's a language?
Someone who is just related to lazy. Lazy. The religious man as the fat one who does nothing but just sits and
Eat.
No, maybe reads the Bible the whole day and eats and then goes to sleep talking of God. And all that moves in his body is the tongue.
And the bowels.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Cut.
No, that's not the way the religious man is. We have a very offensive image of religiosity, real spirituality. The really religious one would be found dancing in the rain. He would not be a misfit in the universe. He belongs. This whole thing is his playground. He's not worrying about what happens to him next and what is around the corner and such things.
Can I ask some advice about something very personal for me at this moment?
Yes.
I have exactly 1 week to find another house. I'm really worried, and I cannot skip the worry out of my head. I have 1 week. I have no money for another house. So, and I'm
Do whatever you can in this 1 week, obviously. Do whatever you can. But remember,
I have 3 jobs also.
with those 3 jobs, do whatever you can. Maybe you can take an off, take a leave, only you know best, but do whatever you can, given your situations, given the person that you are, given the maximum time and energy that you can draw out from yourself. Do whatever you can. In that, there can be no change.
In that?
There can be no change in the sense that nothing can be suggested about what to do. Do whatever you can. You know best. All that I can say is, when the moment comes after the 7th day, you must know that irrespective of whether you have it or you not have it, you are still alright. Right now, act vigorously to get it. But if you do not get it, know that nothing has changed. And something will turn up. From where? Well, let's see. We'll see.
Okay.
Are you getting it? This should not diffuse your energy. Your energy must go fully into what you think is the right action for you. If the right action right now is to take care of yourself or your friends or family and get them a house, get yourself a house, by all means. And without caring for morality or without caring for results, just proceed. Often, you know what hinders us from getting fully into action is the fact that we act only along prescribed lines.
Yeah.
Now, for example, is it necessary to have a house of your own? I'm just asking. Is it not possible that you have friends and you never knew the depth of their friendship? Is it not possible that this occasion is the right occasion to
Move along in life.
move along in life?
It's the flow of
Is
life.
it not possible that you have determined that the only way to have a roof over your head is to have a personal roof over your head? Maybe something better is waiting for you. Maybe whatever is waiting for you would be better.
Yeah.
So our action too is very predetermined action. We say there are 4 outcomes possible in this situation. And I would be happy only if the first outcome materializes. If any of the other 3 do, then I'll say I have been defeated, I must be sad. What if, firstly, not only are there 40 possible outcomes, maybe there are 40,000 possible outcomes, not only 4. And secondly, all of them are equally happy outcomes? One better than the other? We make our happiness and satisfaction very, very contingent, very conditional.
Yeah.
Seventh day, if I succeed in my efforts, if the result is this particular result, only then will I say that I have been successful. Otherwise, I will say I have failed. How do you know that you have failed? How do you know that the house that you get will not collapse right over your head?
Yeah.
Tell me, how do you know? Have you not heard that story of the man who got gratuitously a few white horses? He used to live in a village.
Yes.
And everybody came to congratulate him. He said, not yet. And then a war broke out and everybody who had a horse had to go to do war service. And the old man's son was then drawn into the war. And everybody came and said, bad things have happened. And the old man said, no, not yet, just wait. Right? And just before he was to set out for the war, the son broke a leg. And everybody came and said, oh, bad things. He said, no, not yet. And then because, people with infirmities cannot go to war, so he didn't go to war. And people came to congratulate him. They said, great, your son has escaped the war. He said, wait, not yet. And then things happened. It's a long story. You never know what is in store. Just when you might be celebrating your new house, God forbid, something untoward may just happen. And just when you might be ruining your failure, you do not know what gifts are waiting for you. Still, act without concern and act without limitations. You are in a particular situation. Let not your own constraints bog you down. The situation is probably the house that you have is set to go. Now, only this much is the situation. In this situation, whatever options are open, why not explore them? And also be open to the options that life may just surprisingly offer you. Why reject them thinking that, this is not what I planned. Since this is not what I planned, so I won't take it. You didn't even plan your own birth, remember?
So sure.
Let life give you stuff and do not be biased. Do not say that only that is good which I think is good. There are so many other things that are better than what you think is good. Let those things happen. Yes? Seriously, my education is from the Indian Institute of Technology. There are many Indian Institutes of Technology, but admission to those institutes, they offer degrees in engineering and many other disciplines, both bachelor's and master's, even doctorates. Admission there is extremely difficult. It's the most difficult entrance exam in the world. So, I would be speaking to my juniors and they would come and complain of their worries about jobs. They would say, we do not know whether we would be placed, and even if we are placed, would we be placed in our dream company, right? Or if we are preparing for entrance in some other university, would we get there, would we clear the exam and all that? And I used to ask them that if you are worried, What about people from other places, other colleges, other universities, pursuing other degrees? You are supposed to be the cream of the nation. Not only the cream of the nation, the cream of the world. You have cleared the most difficult entrance exam. And you are saying that you are worried. Surely this worry cannot be on account of your situation, because your situation is a very privileged situation.
Yeah.
You are the privileged ones. Now how can you be worried? Yet I saw them worried. I feel exactly the same way right now. The standard of living here in this country is many times higher than the average standard of living of the entire world. If you're Indian, belonging to one of the northern states, UP or Bihar, and comes and says that he is worried about stuff like jobs or money or housing, then it is relatively understandable, I might sympathize. But here, I am feeling as if an IITian is complaining of job security. How can you be worried about houses and such stuff? Do you know what it means to have no housing? Come to Mumbai. Mumbai. You will come to learn what it means really to have no house. Right when you are about to land there, you will see the biggest slum of the world. And then you will come to learn what it means to have squalid living conditions. Here you are kings, and still you are complaining. Seriously? How can you? And Europe is what? Just 30-35 crore people. India itself is 4 times the population of entire Europe. Those many people are living in that kind of conditions. How can you complain? How? And remember that they are not really dying. They are not falling off the roads, just walking, gone, finished. They have a zeal for life. They are living. They are even prospering. How can you complain? No social security, very little education. Yet they have this verve. Not all of them, I'm generalizing, but you know what I mean. It's just that which we began with. Comparative. The mind likes to compare. But if you must compare, then make a broad comparison. Make a broad comparison. The Buddha was about to send his disciples to a very notorious village to preach. So he called the head. He said, you know, you're going there, you will not get good treatment from those people. They do not like to be preached. They do not like to listen to words of truth. He said, fine, sir. If they abuse us, we'll feel grateful that they didn't hit us with stones. Buddha said, what if they hit you with stones? They'll say, if they hit us with stones, we'll feel grateful that they didn't arrest us and put us in confinement. He said, what if they arrest you and put you in confinement? He said, fine. If they put me in confinement, we'll feel great that they're not flogging us. He said, what if they flog you? He said, we'll feel grateful that they have not sentenced us, not killed us. So if you must compare, then compare broadly. Because whatever you consider as bad, something far worse than that is possible. And in seeing that it could have been far worse, something much, much better is at work. That is the magic of gratitude.
Yeah.